Hey, what's up, y'all? Matt, Dluxfab.com. Hope y'all having a good morning. Today we're building loaded dice wheels. We're gonna glue them up, do all the fun stuff. So a lot of guys are like, "Hey, can I pay to have these assembled?" Guys, this isn't really that hard. So we're gonna do a real quick walkthrough on how to do it. Now it's gonna come. There's your inner ring all built. It's gonna come disassembled. Your face, your inner ring, your hardware. I like to use a little red Loctite going into these standoffs. I don't want them rattling loose while the tires all glued together. So I put a little red Loctite on the baggie like so. A little dab will do you on your screw. I start all 4 of these. Now remember, these screws are kind of close to this edge right here. Don't go full on monkey torque on those. Just good and snug. You go too tight, you can break out of that edge because it's countersunk and it's a bevel. You don't want to overdo it. A little dab will do you. One side. Hold still. Trying to get my hand out of the way so y'all can see what's going on. Now we got them all in there. Go through and snug them all up. Remember, you don't have to just really crank on these, just good and snug. German torque, good and tight. That's all you need. All right, there's your insert. I'll build the other 4, and we'll come back. Alright, y'all, once you get all these put together, what I'll do next is I'll trim up my phones. So these are 6-inch for loaded dice. These are firms for the rear. And we're going to be using silver compound. That's the medium compound website for these rear tires on the truck. So what I'll do, I'll flush this outer foam up to the edge of the inner foam. And that leaves us this gap here. We're going to trim that off because these are for goats. And the goat's a narrow tire. So just coming from the side here, try to hold that as straight as you can. Try to get as big a bite as you can with your scissors, because every time you move the scissors on the foam, get a little ripple in it. Not that it'll ever matter inside your tire and wheel setup. No one will ever notice it. You'll know it's there, but no one will ever see it. If you want to use a razor knife for this to make or some other cutting device, whatever, it's fine. I use scissors because it's fast, easy. There you go. So now pop the center out, set it aside. grab my tire, fold the foam like so, and jam it in the tire. Just get her all seated. Work it around till you're happy with it. Now you need to check your direction of your tires. So those are both pointing. Make sure they're facing the same way. So these points are both facing me. Left and right outers for the rear. Now, at this point, I'll take an alcohol prep pad and wipe down this bead surface. Maybe still some mold release compound or whatever. Go on, buddy. Here's my dog again, making all that racket. Go on, buddy, go lay down. I'll wipe that all down. Try to get that as clean as possible for good adhesion. Now, I'll do the same to my face. If you want to get good adhesion. Damn, bro. Make me film this again because you're make such a racket. All right, now that's all cleaned up. That's more or less dry. Take the glue. The foam's already in the tire, kind of holding shape. Damn, what's wrong with you? Why are you shaking, boy? Make sure you get a good bead on there, glue. Because that's where all your torque's going to be applied from your axles out to this face. It's going to transfer through everything else. Now kind of pull it apart a little bit. Lay that in there. See it kind of wiggle it. Then we'll hold it down. Glue says 10-15 seconds for adhesion. Close that glue up. I'll just hold it down. Usually doesn't take that long. We'll let that set up. So I'll do 2 at a time. Then we have time to alternate between the 2. So that we'll set this one aside for glue to set up. Now this one should be all set up. Yeah, she's good. Now we're going to turn this inside out. Pop the foam back out of it. All that. Bloop. The dog finally settled down. Turn it all the way inside out, like so. Now I've tried several ways of cutting this little bead here off over the years. You can use your body scissors. That works okay. The way I've found works the nicest here lately is a brand new X-Acto razor blade. Poke through. And you just take this edge off. You want to cut it flush with this. You want that just as flat as you can make it. So nice flat blade. So nice and sharp. Makes real nice work of that. You're cutting on the pull stroke, so just lay it in there, move it up, pull it to you. Try to keep that as flat as you can. There you go. So you can do it with the blade, like I just did there. Okay, let's turn this other one inside out. That should be dry enough now. I'll show you how to do it with your scissors. Set our foam aside. Now you're gonna cut right in this little. Let's see if I can show y'all. My dog is there shaking. It's coming at an angle. Just gonna cut that edge off. Try to get that as flat as you can. Ain't gotta be perfect, like I said, no one's gonna see it. And there's that. That's two different ways of achieving more or less the same result. Now, I've already wiped all these down with the alcohol prep pad. I'm gonna clean this up just a hair more around both these edges, and then we'll glue them up. Now, I went and knocked that edge a little bit cleaner with the Dremel, just to make it pretty. Now you do the same on the other side on the back here. We're gonna use the scissors. Kick this little bit here off. You do a couple of these, you'll get a feel for it. If it doesn't turn out perfect the first time, don't sweat it. Take your time. You get 3 more tires to do. And it's not impossible to redo it. Just tedious. So all we're doing is taking that lip off. Put the point of the scissors right down in that corner. Don't go yoinking on this as you're cutting it. It makes a weird cut. Bam. There you go. This turned out pretty smooth. You do a few of those, you get pretty good at it. So there's that one. Let's do the other one. I hold it up with 2 fingers like that because I'm right-handed. Curved Lexan scissors. Curve going that way. Just a tiny bit of stretch on the tire with your 2 fingers, just enough to hold it steady. Not a bunch, just a little. Like I said, and kind of scissors right in that corner that's created down there. Work your way around. Guys, don't be scared to tackle this stuff. You can make it work. Or you can pay us to do it. But it's better for us to empower you to do it. Boom. There you go. Trim that inner bead part off. Now, I'm going to go outside and blow these off with the air compressor. I'll be right back. Now, I went and took my Dremel, knocked that down nice and flush and flat. Blew it off with the air hose. Got all that cleaned up. Now ready to glue this inner part on. Now when you glue this inner part on, you want to make sure you line that up real nice. So make sure it fits good. You line that up. So what we're going to do is take a glue. This whole surface up. Now bear in mind I already wiped this down with alcohol wipe just to make sure it's good and clean for good adhesion to the glue. You want enough glue that you get good adhesion, but you don't want so much that you make a mess and slob it everywhere. So what I'll do is I'll squeeze a little glue out and I'll use the tip to spread it. See, we get pretty good coverage there. Take our time. Line it up as good as you can get it. Now we're going to shove that down. We're going to hold that down pretty snug. Put some pressure on that. Hold it for a few seconds. Now we'll set that aside with the glue set up. We'll do this other one. Always do this, kind of do these in pairs. So I can let the glue set up on the one while I work on the other. There was not much waste of time there. And my next ring. Get her lined up. Mash her down. So usually about a 5 or 10 second count on these. And let that pop up. So we got a nice solid all the way around there. No gaps. Now this one, we'll let that set up for a minute or two and we'll come back to it. Alright y'all, now that that's set up, we're going to jam the foams back on it. And we'll turn it around inside out. So, excuse me. So these are comp cut, Crawler Innovations, loaded dice foams. These little edges you see here and here will line up with the edges of the loaded dice inners. So we'll get those jammed on. By letting those dry for a couple minutes between steps, you also keep that glue off your fingers that you're going to track everywhere you touch. And remember, if you get that glue on your fingers, the best thing to do is stop working on what you're working on. Otherwise, it's going to get everywhere. Kind of like, you know, if you get anti-seize on your hands when you're working on the car. So see, we got that worked in around the edge, right on that line to where you want it. So now we get our outer. These are getting firm outers, and these are silver compound mediums. Work our outers on into place. You want to get real fancy, you can glue the outers to the inners. I do that on some of my trucks. If you want to do that, use that a 3M Super 777 or Super 77 adhesive. Spray it on the inner, let it tack up a little bit, and then you can work that outer on and have them all one piece. So now you got that all together. As you see here, we're going to yam it, stretch it all back around. Like so. Now you can glue these edges on the inside in. Kind of work your foams into place. Pretty much looking like a tire now. So what I'll do is I'll do a little bit at a time. I'll pick whichever side kind of lines up nice, because it's going to kind of want to be a little cockeyed, just because of the nature of the foams and stuff. So I'll just pick a side, like right there looks good. I'll haul this back, and I'll do, hopefully y'all can see this on there. I'll do about that much. And then I'll lay that in there, line it up right with the inside edge of that, and hold it on there. Don't roll your finger around too much. You get that glue on your finger. Glue yourself to the tire. Which, you know, there's a chance I might do that before this is done. I'll work my way around the tire, a little bit at a time. So, inch or so, line it up, hold it on there. You can come back. If you miss a little spot, no biggie. You can come back and get that later. Right now, you're just working your way around the edge of the tire to make sure you don't end up with it all on there sideways, or, as my mom would say, side goggling. See, there's a little bit of glue on there on my finger. Just try to get that off. And all right, cool. Same deal. Inch or so. Just lay it on in there. Right along the inner edge of that. Remember, this stuff's done by hand. It's never going to be completely perfect. Now, you do a bunch of them, like Nick does over at Squashworks, or Kyle, KS Customs, you'll be getting these things fucking just perfect. But practice makes perfect, right? So do a few of them. Don't be scared to try things, guys. Well, there you go. Let that dry. Work the foams in a little bit. Loaded dice. Put that aside. Let's do another one. Same deal. Jam the inner foam on. Make sure we're lined up with that little mark around there, because that'll even it up on both sides. Sweet. Look back there. Looks good. Take your outer, stretch it on around. Sorry. Let's zoom this out a little bit. Take our outer, stretch it on around, line it up. Like so. Stretch it over. Work it around, try to even everything up. Now we'll take a little bit, about an inch or so at a time. We'll line her up. Yep, see? Watch out for that. Glue yourself to it. And if you get a little glue on the tire like that, before it dries, you can alcohol wipe some of that up. Hope y'all can see that. That little bead around there. Did it again. Just that alcohol. Sometimes I use a driver to kind of tuck it in. It's a lot easier to get that. Get a little more. Some of y'all might have a different way to do this. This is the way that I found works well for me. Take my driver, kind of push it down and hold it. It's a little high spot. Boom. Make sure I got that back edge tucked in and glued down. Alcohol wiped off. And we'll let that set up for a minute. Come back around to those spots that we didn't hit. And there you go. That's how you do it. I'm gonna glue these other two up. We'll get her done. Thanks, guys. See ya.